the body. And the body loves that. It loves your attention. Most people don't give their body attention. Even if they look after the body extremely, like you go to a gym every day, or you use all kinds of stuff to put on your body, you might think that these people are looking after their body, but all they're looking after is the external of the body. They are not necessarily present within. They cannot feel the aliveness. Some maybe they can, but most not. They're only concerned with the external body. Here we are concerned with the inner. And it doesn't matter. The inner body has nothing to do with what the external body looks like. Whether you're 80 years old or 20 years old, whether you have a young body or an old body, the sensation of the inner body is always the same. It's alive. And the body loves your attention. It's a bit like when you don't give enough attention to a child, after a while the child cries because it wants to attract your attention. The baby does it, and then finally you give, because attention is energy, it's enormous energy. Now most attention is consciousness. Most attention for most people is continuously absorbed by thinking. You can see it when you talk to them. They're not there, really. They're thinking. They're looking at you, but they're thinking about the next thought they're going to ask. As you sit there, maybe you're thinking about, okay, what's my next question? And that's normal. It's not a personal fault of yours. It's normal to lose yourself. And then you lose, that means you're not really present when you're thinking about the next thing. So that's normal. So you don't have to beat yourself up for that. It's normal. But there is another way to live. And that's the way to be present, to give attention, not just to your thoughts, to give attention to your body. If you don't give enough attention to a child, of course a child can also become addicted to attention, but that's a different matter. There needs to be a balance. But a child does need attention. It's vital. Not an excessive amount, but enough, because attention is energy. And the body loves it as much as a child. It wants to be noticed. It wants your attention. And if it doesn't, it cries. It might become ill. That's the crying of the body. You're neglecting it. You're not inhabiting it. You're inhabiting the uppermost loft in your house. You're in a big house and you live always under the roof. You never go downstairs. There are lots of floors. You have no idea what's going on there. So that's a vital thing. And it is a way of also accessing the space within. That is the I that has no form. That is the consciousness. That is also intelligence. We think of intelligence as the mind's ability to accumulate knowledge and to solve problems. That's probably what we consider to be intelligence, but that's an extremely narrow view of what intelligence is. What people can measure in IQ tests is an extremely narrow view of intelligence. I cannot solve the simplest of IQ tests. So I've never done a total test, but I'm sure my IQ would be extremely low because that is not how this mind works. Solving little puzzles, I've never been able to do that. But intelligence is a much vaster thing than the ability to accumulate information and then regurgitate it or analyze it or cut it into smaller and smaller pieces, what they do at universities, research projects. The pieces are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. The PhD subjects are getting more and more and more specialized because so many people are working on things, and then you have to watch your tiny piece. Like, okay, I take this piece and write my PhD about that. You can cut that up 100 times. And then once you've written your PhD, somebody else comes and takes a tiny piece out of that and says, oh, I can cut this up even further. And that's considered intelligence. But the true intelligence resides in that dimension of alert stillness. If you have access to that, that's where the original intelligence resides. So anybody who is creative, and there are not that many human beings in this world who are truly creative, anybody who's creative has some access, perhaps only in the little area of their field of expertise, where they have some access to that dimension, the stillness. Einstein had it. He was very slow. He was not considered intelligent at school because he was too slow. They said not suitable for mathematics, they said, and physics, because his thinking was very slow. Now, what does it mean? It means there were lots of spaces in between the thoughts. He wasn't at school like one of the so-called intelligent children who always, when the teacher asks a question, the hand goes up immediately. I know. That's very superficial. Occasionally that may be okay, but there are some children, and that is not recognized by our society, who are very deeply intelligent, but not in the way that we consider, what we consider intelligence, and they tend to be slower. They don't immediately have an answer because they know it's superficial. To have a true answer, you have to go deeper within. But if you allowed those children to go deeper, then you would see how original their thinking actually is. So when we just you went into the body, already you noticed some new thoughts came, not the old thoughts. It only requires a tiny space for something new to arise. Not that you're doing it in order to have new thoughts, you're doing it because it feels good to feel the aliveness within you. And the more familiar you become with that, with inhabiting your body, the more strongly you can feel that aliveness. It's almost as if you could feel every cell of the body vibrating slightly. And it's a beautiful feeling, just an aliveness there. And that is an enormously healing thing to do for the body.
I really want to know about guilt. I feel guilty all the time for little things I'm doing or that I'm not doing. And there are things that I know I did that were mistakes to other people. So I know that you're supposed to be free and liberated in the now, but shouldn't I feel bad about this stuff? I mean, and what's going to keep me, if I'm free and liberated in the now, from doing bad things to people?
Human beings act out of their conditioning. So every human being is conditioned by their upbringing, by the surrounding culture, by many factors, conditioned to think and feel and behave in certain ways. And so people do all kinds of things to other people and even to themselves without knowing what they are doing. They're simply acting out the conditioning of their mind. And Jesus knew that because he said on the cross, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." So humans create an enormous amount of suffering for themselves and others, but they don't know that this is what they are doing. People act out of conditioning. So when you suddenly see that something that you did in the past created